Litecoin and Bitcoin daily update. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everyone's having a great day. Give a shout out to everybody that's been liking, subscribing, sharing the videos. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot, guys. So continue to do that if you would, please. Otherwise, I'm going to do it a little different today. I'm going to start out with the weekly chart of Litecoin, then break it down. And then I'm going to start out with the weekly chart on Bitcoin and break it down. And if you guys are new here, or you haven't already seen the reasoning why I believe the bottom is in, I'm going to also show that at the end with the Bitcoin and gold chart. So stick around.
1, 2, 3, jump!
All right, guys. As always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my view and my opinion of the market only. Anybody that's doing any investing or any trading in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence, as the market can be extremely volatile and risky. It is still a speculative market, so keep that in mind, guys. All right. If you haven't already, or you're new here and you like the content, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. Then if you tick the little bell, that'll get you notified when I post new videos. And smash those likes. Give it a giant thumbs up, and leave me comments. Let me know what you think, guys. And I like to hear your guys' thoughts and views on what you think the market's doing. And also, at the end, let me know what you think of the Bitcoin to gold comparison. So, with that being said, we're going to start out with the weekly. And guys, I just want to say it really helps the channel out a lot if you guys just give thumbs up, and if you like the content, obviously, and you leave your comments. It helps the channel out so much, and I really appreciate it, guys. So, all right, looking at the weekly, as you can see, this is the channel I've had drawn in here for quite some time, since way back in here. And as you can see, we broke out of the top of the channel, and then we came back down and tested for support, and we got support. Now I believe we're continuing up, and our next stop is probably going to be around this 55 EMA right here, around the 64.20 range, 64.50. But anyways, as you can see right here, this is very bullish to me. If we look at my 21 and 8 EMI right here, the 8 has crossed, whoops, sorry guys, the 8 has crossed the 21 here, right there, and that's very bullish to me. And then the next would be the 13, which is the white line, crossing over the blue, which is the 21. And again, guys, this is the weekly chart, so that shows me that the weekly is very bullish. As long as it stays up above, that's pretty convincing cross there, guys. So let's look at the RSI on the weekly. As you can see, we have plenty of room to move up here, and we are ticking sideways right now. And I do believe that we will get another tick up. So let's I just wanted to show you guys that and start out on the weekly and just show you, you know, how it's gotten support on the top of this channel. Now we'll go into the daily chart on Litecoin and see where we're at there. The same thing is, if you can see this right here, this is the 21 EMA, and we're crossing over the 200 EMA. And that, again, guys, that's a very bullish sign to me. Each time we've crossed over with one of the EMAs over the 200, we've got a boost up. Now this one is a pretty strong one, so I do believe we have obviously more momentum to move up to my higher targets here of 60, 65, and 68.80. Now, guys, that doesn't mean we shoot straight up. I've tried to explain that before, and I know a lot of people think it means you go straight up. We're going to have lots of movement in here. We have lots of support and resistance lines, and we've got to break the resistance and turn it into support. And that's, like I said, right here, that's what I think we're trying to do. If you guys look, let me show you real quick what I'm looking at here. This really looks like a bull flag forming. You can see it right here. If we do a measured move for that one, guys, measure to where we broke out right here, up to the top, and where we possibly could be breaking out. And that's pointing to right around the $66 range, guys, which would be right in between these two targets of the 65 and 68. So this is a good area to watch, guys, as long as we break up out of this. The other possibility is we break down a little bit more in here and, you know, continue on down to maybe 5150 area and then continue up. But I do believe it's more upward movement from here. But guys, definitely watch this top of this channel, and if we break down through that, we could be, you know, looking at coming down to the $47 range, and then the next support would be 41.33. But I'm looking pretty bullish here. Let's go into the, I tell you what, let's go into the RSI. And if we take a look at the RSI on the daily, we've had this rising wedge drawn here. And what it seems to look like here, we could get another test down here, and then if it breaks through, obviously we have a sell-off. But as of right now, guys, it's looking to me like we break up. And if we draw, if you're doing your own charting, which I suggest you do, you could draw a line across here and watch for, if this gives us resistance, we'll probably come back down to test this again. And if we do test it and break through, obviously we're gonna have a sell-off. But if we break up through this, then we're going, you know, for our higher, go test the top of this rising wedge, which would be obviously resistance there, and that would be where our correction would begin, I think. Because if you're familiar with rising wedges, once you come up, you know, it'll come down, then eventually we'll break through here. But that's where I'm at, and this is a daily chart, guys, so this takes a while. Also, let's go into, well, let's go back to the daily chart, and just to show you these targets real quick on Litecoin. Here I was looking at this as an Adam and an Eve, and did the measured move off of the neckline here, which would be around the 41.24 range. We do a measured move off of that. I feel like I keep repeating myself on this stuff, guys, but there's new people subscribing to the channel, and I want them to see how I get these targets. So up this Adam and Eve, the target is right there at 60, right around $60. And then this other target, we measure this whole channel, the length of the channel or the width of the channel, and then bring it up to where we broke out, and that's what gets me my $65 range. And then looking at this as a possible cup and handle here, we would do a measured move off of that and look at this as the neckline, bring it down, and then bring it back up to the neckline where we broke out, and that's what gets me up to the $72 range. Now, another thing I'm looking at, guys, is let me zoom in a little bit more, and we're gonna put another line across here. And guys, these are just possibilities that I'm watching. So, but if we put another support resistance line right around here, around the 51.26, and look at this as a cup and a handle, you know, that's even a bigger target, which could be possible. And we're going to do the measured move off that to the bottom of the cup, if that's what it is. Bring it on up over here, and that's going to give us a much higher target, right around the $80 range. So we're going to put another target there. Again, guys, I am bullish here, and you got to remember that I'm not saying that's going to go straight up here. These are just the targets for continuing bullish, and there's going to be lots of movement, just like we've had lots of up and down here. So I just wanted to point that out. Now we're going to look into the 4-hour chart and see what we're looking at here. And again, guys, I'm bullish as long as we stay above this this top of this channel, and I believe we've broken out, and as long as that holds as support, we'll be doing pretty good. So right now I'm looking at this. This was the bull flag I was showing you guys. Let me get rid of these lines. As you can see, we're getting resistance at our old support and resistance line around the $56 range. So we could end up popping down and coming back down and testing this line, which would get us around to the 51.37 area. But that's the worst case scenario, guys, unless we break down through this. So definitely keep an eye on that. We're going to also look into my strange, but it makes a lot of sense, my RSI in the 4 hour, where I had this symmetrical triangle drawn with a continued line. As you can see, we're coming up to test this line again for resistance. If we break through, obviously that's where I believe we'll be getting up to our higher targets. So that's where I'm at with that right now. Let's go into Bitcoin. And again, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tick the little bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the video. All right, we're going to start in the weekly. As you can see, I have the falling wedge drawn here. And as you can see, my EMAs are starting to turn up here. And this is going to be very bullish if this 8 EMA crosses the 13 EMA here, and then moving on up towards the 21 EMA. And then way up here we had the 55 EMA, which is around the 53.50 range, which is one of my targets is around the 52.50, but we'll get into that in a second. I just wanted to show this real quick on the weekly. As you can see, I'm not moving this symmetrical triangle, and I do believe this is going to be our continuing support for the long term, which is the bottom of the symmetrical triangle. And as you can see, we've popped up out of the symmetrical triangle, and then we came back down in it here. And then we popped up above it here, came back down, tested for support, and got support. Now we're testing this, our EMA, which is, this is the 13 EMA. And we're testing this, we're getting resistance off it along with the top of this falling wedge. Now I believe it's going to be extremely bullish if we pop up out of this, but let's take a look at the RSI. And as we can see, we have plenty of room to go up, but we do have to watch. We could come down and do a double bottom also, guys. But as of right now, I don't see that anytime soon anyways, but if we did continue down, I believe that would come down to test this $3,500 area, which would be the bottom of this long-term trend line, also bottom of the symmetrical triangle. So that's what I'm looking at in the weekly. Now let's go to the daily and see what's going on here. All right, in the daily chart, we could draw a trend line right here to watch what's going on here. And if we obviously, if we can break up past this, it's going to be bullish. As of right now, my EMAs are holding up here and acting as support. If we do break back down, if you look at this line I've drawn here, this is another possibility if we were to go down, guys. From here, if we're unable to break this trend line here, that we would come back down to, you know, somewhere in this range. Could be anywhere around in here, around the $3,550 to $3,500 range. Come back down, and as you can see, that would make a falling wedge, which is a bullish formation, which would bring us back up here. But I think we have a good chance of breaking this right now, guys. So we'll have to watch and see what happens there. But regardless, I'm still pretty bullish here up into the 3970 range. And then obviously I have my targets up here of 4,000 and then 4,077, which I've gotten. Let's let's look at the daily RSI, guys. And if we look at this channel here, we seem to be ticking up. We could come to test this trend line here and then get a rejection and come back down and give this another test. If we do test the bottom of this channel here, guys, and break through, then we're looking at obviously some going back down to, you know, possibly a double bottom range. But like I said, I don't see that. I really believe this is going to hold around the $3,500 range. So let's go into the 4-hour RSI now. And the same deal. We've obviously been getting support off this bottom of this channel. You can see here we had like almost kind of like a bear trap here, and then, you know, obviously we're getting support again, and we could be coming up to test the top of this again. So I do believe that's what's happening. That's what'll give us up to our higher targets. Now we're going to go into the 4-hour Bitcoin chart and take a look at what we got here. Again, if you remember, I just drew that trend line down this way, that if we break through, you know, then I believe we're coming up to the 3970 range. And this is going to be a major I'm going to move this target down. Whoops. I'm going to move this target down here to the 3970 range, guys, because of obviously what's going on here with the top of this falling wedge. So, and then we could see continued move down. But again, that would form a falling wedge, which I believe would end up being a continuing pattern of continuing back up again. So taking a look at the RSIs in here, zoom in a little bit. And as you can see, we are back above my RSIs here. And if these hold as support, you know, that's going to give us our bullish move back up. And if they do not, obviously we come back down. But so far, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm still bullish here. And like I said, just keep an eye on this trend line right here. And if we can break above that, you know, our next area is that 3970 range. Move this down a little bit. And that would be the top of that falling wedge. If we break through the top of that, that's going to be extremely bullish, guys. I want to take a look at the daily again. I don't remember if we looked. Yeah, we looked at the RSI or my EMAs here, and we're above them now. If those hold at support, obviously that's going to be pretty bullish in my eyes anyway. And again, guys, this is only my opinion, my view of the market. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. So let's go into the 1-hour chart just to see what that looks like. And this is that trend line I drew, that if we break above, then I believe we're going up to the 3970 range. And another way to look at that would be, let me straighten these out a little bit just to show you guys how to measure this move if it is what we're looking at. And you can see this would be a falling, broadening wedge here. And how we would do that is measure where we would break out, and this is if we break out here, guys, and that would put us right at the 3970 range. So yeah, guys, that's where I'm looking at now with Bitcoin. And then, like I said, we'll probably definitely get some resistance around that area, and we're gonna need to watch it from there and watch the data and see what, you know, goes from there. But I do believe that we're heading to at least that area right now. And then what we need to watch for after that is coming back down to retest the top of this symmetrical triangle again, guys. If we can't break through this white falling wedge resistance line. But if we do break through that, then my higher targets come in effect, and we'll take a look at those right now. And then we're going to go into looking at the Bitcoin to gold comparison chart. Let me get back into the 4-hour here. So we could take a look at these targets. All right, so we'll start out with the high targets. And again, guys, these are only if we break up out of this white line, the falling wedge here. And we'll take a measured move of the widest part of the symmetrical triangle with the touch, and to where we break out, where we initially broke out of the top of the symmetrical triangle. And that gets me to the $5,000 range, guys. Now we will take a look at the higher target. Excuse me. So if we look at this as, let me get up here. If we look at this, this could also be an Adam and an Eve, just like I was showing in Litecoin. And our neckline would be around the 41.87 range. Let's take a look at where that would, let's see where that target would be if we do a measured move. And we would do a measured move from this neckline around the 41.80 range. And then we would put it on there to where we would, if we were to break up above it. And that's what gets me to the 52.50 range, guys. Now, again, those are the higher targets, and that's only if we can break above this white line here. And again, guys, it's not, doesn't mean it's going to shoot straight up. It'll definitely take some time. But there's also the possibility, like I said, to coming down and come back down and test this bottom of the symmetrical triangle, which I believe is going to be our long-term support. But again, guys, just to be on the safe side of something to look for, if this was to break down, we would do a measured move off of this triangle, just like we did a measured move going up. We would have to do a measured move going down if we broke down from there. And guys, that would line up with the bottom of this falling wedge, which would get us around to the $2,200–$2,300 range. And in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen, but you know, we have to be ready for it in case it does. So definitely watch this bottom trend line here. Like I said, around the $3,450 to the $3,500 range is the range I'd be watching for a breakdown from there. All right, guys, that's about it. I do see us strongly looking towards this 39.70 range. And then watch, like I said, really keep an eye on this white falling wedge line, the top of the falling wedge. If we break through that, it's going to be extremely bullish, guys. So, all right. Now going into the Bitcoin longer chart, and I'm going to explain, for those of you that haven't seen already, why I believe that the bottom is in. We have seen the lows. Honestly, I could be wrong, but I am just showing you my opinion and my view. So this is the daily chart of Bitcoin, and this is on Bitstamp. And I've drawn this white dotted trend line from the all-time high peak and drew it across to where we broke down from 6,000. Then I drew this solid line here from the second peak after we, broke down from the all-time high and come back up. And then that one also goes to the 6,000 range where we broke down. And then I have the long-term trend line coming across the bottom here, a solid line. And if you look at that, we've broken through this, and when we broke through it, zoom in a little bit, we've been continuing on up from there. Now, that's not to say that we don't come back down and test this $3,450 to $3,500 range. And guys, keep a close eye on that, because if we do break down from there, there's a possibility it could just be a bear trap and pop right back up in, or the next support is around this $2,200 to $2,300 range. Now, as you can see on this bottom support line, we've had two touches, and I know people are talking about we need a big capitulation candle to signify that the bottom is in, but I do believe this was capitulation here, and now we're in the accumulation stage. Now let's take a look at gold. In gold, I did the same thing. The dotted line from the peak of the all-time high here. And guys, this is a weekly chart of gold, which I know it's a daily on Bitcoin, weekly on gold, but human emotion and human psychology never changes, and that's, you know, that's what makes the charts, is human emotion and human psychology. And but this one is, like I said, the weekly. But if you think about it, we're in different times now. This is over like what, 30 years or 20, you know, 20, 30 years. So actually around 20 years, a little over 20 for this run here. So you know, nowadays the internet, everything's way faster. You know, people have easier access to getting into stocks, gold, Bitcoin, what have you. So, but anyways, like I showed you in Bitcoin, and if we look at this too, we had, these are the same lines I had in Bitcoin. We had two touches here, broke through this yellow and continued on up once we broke through both them trend lines. I know it doesn't look exactly the same, but the resemblance is staggering. So, and then look what happened. And if you guys know what happened right here in 2003, gold's ETFs were introduced. And then look what happened. Just a constant move up from there, a huge, huge bull run. So, you know, the resemblance is remarkable to me. And if we zoom in, there was no capitulation candle in this whatsoever. It was just same thing. We had the big sell-off, which this was the capitulation, and then accumulation, and then it just shot straight up from there. Now, do I think Bitcoin's going to shoot straight up? Not necessarily. Maybe if an ETF's approved, but I do believe we'll continue up from where we're at, and I do believe the lows are in. I'm going to go back into this, and now I'm going to show you the RSI first off on the weekly. And I've drawn these two lines here. This was from the 2013 bull run, 2017 bull run. And I've drawn this line straight across. And once we popped out of this, guys, you know, we did a little downward motion, but it was continued up from there. I drew the same line over here, and we have the same thing going on. We've broken through, and I believe we'll continue up from here. I'm going to show you the monthly, and I've drawn these two arcs in here on the monthly. This was obviously 2013 bull run, 2014 bear run or bear market, and then continue up from there. And this was our 2016-17 bull run. Same thing here. This was our bull run from 17. This is our 18 bear market. And as you can see these arrows, I've pointed out the lows on the RSI in the bear market. They each had 4 lows coming towards the bottom. Now over here, we've, you know, this was basically the accumulation phase. And then, you know, the right in around September of 2015 was the start of, you know, upward momentum. And then obviously the bull run started in 2016. Now over here, we look at if this was to come straight across like it did over there, you know, we're looking around the July area before we may have a bunch of sideways action till then and then move up from there. But yeah, I just thought this was interesting, guys, and I wanted to show it. And this is why I do believe that the bottom's in. In my opinion, of course, I could be wrong. But that is what I'm seeing, guys. If you guys like the channel and like the content, please make sure you subscribe. You can tick the little Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes, guys. It only takes a second to hit the thumbs up. And leave your comments down below. Appreciate it. Have a good day.